I hope I'm audible. Everything is clear. Okay. So very good morning to all of you, and thank you for taking our time on a lovely Sunday. So today is the second part of the psychology webinar we had before this. On the right hand side of your screen, there is a panel from where you can ask questions. You can raise your hand. If I'm in the flow of saying something, I may not be able to answer the question immediately, but I will later. Also, I hope everyone has seen the first part of the webinar. This gets more technical towards the end, and I will start the highlights of today's webinar is that first of all we're going to discuss a few points which I had in my previous webinar. So some slides, not all from there, but some slides you will see there. Beside that, we'll also have a certain different, very different and technical things, very niche and special things, which only probably my students get to know, and it doesn't come out so easily because it's difficult to express in a PDF or anything. So before we begin, a little bit about myself. My name is Mohan Pachisia. I'm a chartered market technician, and I've been trained by Markets Technician Association and CFA Institute, which are the two most blue blood institute in their fields. So I'm both trained in fundamental and technical analysis. I started my career as an analyst. I moved on to trading, and then again I became an analyst. Then I had two trading firms I was with, and it took me about 2 to 3 years just to be consistent in the market. So it takes time, but if you give time, you can crack the code. After that, so it's been a total of 8+ years now that I've been trading and being consistent. So after that, what happened is that I realized certain things which made me very successful. Obviously, my education, higher education also helped me a lot, and I got that time. But what more is important is the correct type of approach. See, because reading a book or just knowing things from this top of the surface will not help. You have to be willing to be able to go a little bit into the details, willing to work hard, willing to practice, and then when you see growth, it will be exponential. So trading psychology part 2. Now what happens is that, as I mentioned in my previous webinar, so those who find this webinar good and have not seen the previous recording, you can go back and see the previous recording. You can ask it on WhatsApp or anything from me, and I will send it to you. So today when I look at psychology, why do I give so much importance to psychology? I'm associated with clients who earn, a European client who earns, I'm one of the traders, and the entire panel of traders, we earn in the top 5 or top 7 highest, best statistics in the entire Europe. That company earns that kind of statistics. So that is the kind of profitability, that is the kind of consistency, and everything because of psychology, good psychology. A lot of people who are great at analysis and also get the best analysts, get the best analysis. A lot of people fail to execute it correctly, and there are certain reasons why today we are going to discuss. So before any further ado, I'm going to talk about a lot of things in trading psychology today. So let's just give it a quick snapshot of what we did last time. So if we know what we did last time, we'll have a better idea to. So I'm not including all the slides, only 2 or 3. So why do traders lose money? हम पैसे इसलिए लूज करते हैं कि हम या तो कुत्ते की तरह बिहेव करते हैं या तो गधे की तरह. और ये एनालॉजी मुझे आया था जब मैं एक आर्टिकल पढ़ रहा था कि कोई बाहर देश में ऐसा हुआ था कि रोड एक्सीडेंट्स बहुत जरूरी सिर्फ 2 जानवरों की वजह से होते थे. एक तो कुत्ते की वजह से या तो गधे की वजह से. आपने कभी किसी कुत्ते को रोड क्रॉस करते हुए देखा है? तो जब वो रोड क्रॉस करता है तो उसको डर बहुत रहता है कि गाड़ी यहाँ से आ रही है, और उसकी डिसीजन मेकिंग माइंड में बहुत स्ट्रांग नहीं रहती है. तो कभी आगे कभी पीछे, कभी आगे कभी पीछे, कभी आगे कभी पीछे, और बैंग, एक्सीडेंट. वो इम्पल्सिव रहता है. और दूसरा हो गया गधा। गधे की वजह से एक्सीडेंट क्यों हुई? बिकॉज गधा रोड के बीच में आके गधा बन जाता था, एक जगह खड़ा रह जाता था। तो ऐसे कई बार जैसे मार्केट्स में हम एक कुत्ते की तरह कभी बाई कभी सेल, कभी गए कभी सेल, और कभी एक गधे की तरह एक व्यू लेना और उस व्यू के पीछे गधा बन जाना। ये दो बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग चीजें होती है, रीजंस होती है लोगों को जिसके वजह से लॉस होता है। A lot of traders lose money by a series of small losses, or they lose money by one single big loss. Because trading is against human nature. When we discussed it last time, that trading is against human nature. We are wired in such a way, हमारा ब्रेन जो है वो हमें सर्वाइव करने के लिए बना है। तो हम फाइट या फ्लाइट मोड में बहुत जल्दी आ जाते हैं। हम चीजों को मार्केट में एक डेंजर सिचुएशन की तरह लेते हैं। आज के दिन द adrenaline rush which people get when they're trading, वो रश एग्जैक्टली एक सिग्नल है डेंजर का, और वो हम एडिक्टेड हो जाते हैं उससे। और ये चीज जो है ये हमारी एक एनिमल नेचर है, बिकॉज हम प्लांट्स एंड एनिमल्स के अंडर एनिमल्स में तो आते हैं। सो ट्रेडिंग ऑब्जेक्टिवली ये हमारे लिए बहुत नेचुरल चीज नहीं है, इंस्टिंक्टिव चीज नहीं है, लेकिन क्या हो सकती है? हाँ, हम बना सकते हैं। इसलिए इंस्टिंक्टिव चीज नहीं है, और भी रीजंस है, सोशल रीजंस। हमें बचपन से हमेशा एक परफेक्शन की तरफ पुश किया जाता है, और हमें ये समझाया जाता है कि हम जितने परफेक्ट हो उतने अच्छे हैं, हम जितना परफेक्ट किसी चीज को कर रहे हैं वो हम उतना अच्छा कर रहे हैं। तो हम कभी कभी प्रोबेबिलिटीज के टर्म्स में नहीं सोच पाते हैं। तो हम जब प्रोबेबिलिटीज के टर्म में नहीं सोच पाते हैं, it is very difficult for us to understand that every trade has a probability of going wrong. And when the trade goes wrong, or when you're hit by a certain one or two losses also, it becomes very difficult to motivate yourself. दूसरा reason, that money has no time barrier, but we think that money has time barrier. All the time we have been told महीने का खर्चा, you know, दिन में इतना कमाया वगैरह वगैरह। बट मार्केट ऐसी जगह है जहाँ पे आपके पास कुछ घंटों में या कुछ मिनट्स में काफी हजारों लाखों करोड़ों रुपए आ सकते हैं। लेकिन ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि आप बहुत कुछ करें और मार्केट कहीं मूव ही नहीं कर रहा, तो आपके पास ज्यादा कुछ रुपए भी नहीं आए या लॉस हो जाए। तो जब हम अलाइंड होते हैं इस तरीके से सोचने के लिए कि हमें महीने का, दिन का, हफ्ते का कुछ निकालना चाहिए मार्केट से, ये बहुत गलत साइकोलॉजी बन जाती है। और वो गलत साइकोलॉजी इसलिए बन जाती है जब एक्चुअल में प्रॉफिट आता है, जब बड़ा प्रॉफिट आता है। सपोज आपने किसी दिन 60-70 हजार रुपए सुबह सुबह कमा लिया, तो इफ यू लुक बैक, मेनी ऑफ दीज डेज पीपल हैव द टेंडेंसी कि वो पैसा जो इतनी आसानी से आ गया, हम सबकॉन्शियसली उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर पाते, और फिर उसको उसके बदले कुछ ऐसी चीज कर देते हैं जिस वजह से हमारा लॉस हो जाता है। तो साइकोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम्स हैं। We are not born with a limitless capacity of self-evaluation. हमारे सेल्फ इवेल्युएशन, सेल्फ एस्टीम की कैपेसिटी लिमिटेड है हमारी सेल्फ इमेज के ऊपर। सो जब भी हम अपने आप को देखते हैं, एक इमेज है हमारे पास अपने आप की। तो अगर हमारे लिए 2 लाख रुपए एक ट्रेड में कमाना बहुत बड़ी बात है, बहुत बड़ी बात है, तो हम वो 2 लाख कमाने के बाद रुक जाएंगे, डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा हमारे लिए, या लॉस कर देंगे, बिकॉज हम साइकोलॉजिकली ही उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर पाते। लेकिन अगर आपकी कैपेसिटी अपने आप को इवेलुएट करने की बड़ी है, तो आप देखना कि आप 2-3 लाख रुपए कमा लिए, एंड आफ्टर दैट ऑल्सो द नेक्स्ट डे आप उतनी मेहनत, उतने ही क्लियर माइंड से और उससे भी बेटर काम करने के लिए आगे जाते। We tend to take the path of least resistance. अब least resistance मतलब वो पाथ जो हमारे लिए बहुत आसानी से हम ले सके। जिस चीज पे हमें डिफिकल्टी होती है हम वो लेना नहीं चाहते। और आपको याद रखना होगा कि आपकी सारी सक्सेस आपकी कंफर्ट जोन के बाहर है। तो फॉर एग्जांपल, आपको लगता है कि कोई स्टॉक है जो कि 800 रुपए पे ट्रेड कर रहा है और वो 800 रुपए से 780 आने वाला है, तो वो एक बार में नहीं आता है। वो पहले शायद 793 आएगा, 793 के बाद में वो साइडवेज, वो थोड़ा ऊपर भी जा सकता है। और आपको लगता है कि आपकी जो पूरी की पूरी एनालिसिस है वो शायद कहीं ना कहीं आप ऐसा अपने आप को जो ब्रेन है हमारा वो एक साइकियाट्रिक टर्म में उसको कॉग्निटिव डिसोनेंस कहते हैं, वो एक रिएक्शन देता है दैट वी वांट टू नाउ गेट आउट ऑफ दिस, बिकॉज हम उसको पूरी तरीके से रद्द करना चाहते हैं। हम वो जो फाइट है वो हम झेल नहीं पाते और हम पूरी के पूरे ट्रेड को क्लोज करना चाहते हैं और कहते हैं कि नेक्स्ट टाइम कोई और ट्रेड में अच्छे से ट्रेड कर लेते हैं, और फिर वो नेक्स्ट टाइम कभी आता ही नहीं। अपने रूल्स के साथ नहीं चलना चाहते, हम वीक और खराब ट्रेड्स लेते हैं कि सिर्फ इस बार वो ले लेंगे। तो ये जो सारी चीजें हैं जहाँ पे हमारे को अपने माइंड को कंट्रोल करना है वो कंट्रोल नहीं कर पा रहे। तो ये एक रीजन है। लास्टली, और जो ब्रेन में डोपामिन रिलीज होती है, डोपामिन एक ऐसा केमिकल है जिसके बारे में मैंने पिछले विस्तार में कहा था। तो क्योंकि मैं मेरा टारगेट है बहुत नई चीजें कवर करने का, तो अपने इस स्लाइड को आगे बढ़ाएंगे और नेक्स्ट पॉइंट में जाएंगे। सो फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस और ट्रेडिंग, और मैं ट्रेडिंग की बात कर रहा हूँ, फ्यूचर्स की ट्रेडिंग और फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस। कई बार एक चीज देखी गई है और पिछले वेबिनार में हमने इसके एग्जांपल्स भी दिए थे, बट इसको शॉर्ट में मैं कहूंगा दैट फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस क्रिएट्स अ रियलिटी गैप, यानी कि जो आपको लग रहा है कि होना चाहिए और जो एक्चुअली है उसके बीच में हमेशा एक गैप है। और उसका रीजन हमारे साइकोलॉजी में है, क्योंकि हम हर टाइम फ्रेम में प्राइस को एक्सटेंड कर देते हैं। यानी कि अगर कोई इंट्राडे ट्रेडर है, वो अपने इमोशंस से, अपने बाइंग और सेलिंग प्रेशर से, वो 30 मिनट, 1 आवर टाइम फ्रेम में, 15 मिनट टाइम फ्रेम में बाइंग सेलिंग बहुत एक तरफा एक्सटेंड कर देता है। जो पोजिशनल ट्रेडर है वो अपनी बाइंग सेलिंग डेली चार्ट्स पे या डेली टाइम फ्रेम में देखा जाए तो एक्सटेंड कर देता है। So if there is a positive sentiment and there is a lot of bullishness, तो अगर कोई स्टॉक को 100 की जगह 150 होना चाहिए था फंडामेंटली, आपको शायद वो 170 दिखे, और या फिर जब आप उसको खरीदने जाए तो आपको ऐसा भी लगे वो 80 रुपए का है। और जरूरी नहीं है कि वो 80 रुपए से फिर 150 रुपए हो, वो 80 से पहले 65 भी हो सकता है। सो ये जो रियलिटी गैप है, इससे क्या होता है कि फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस लॉन्ग टर्म में इट्स एक्सट्रीमली गुड, बिकॉज वो आपको बताती है कि क्या होना चाहिए लॉन्ग टर्म में। बट जब आप ट्रेडिंग कर रहे हो, यू आर ऑन लेवरेज, एंड व्हेन यू आर ऑन लेवरेज इट इज एक्सट्रीमली डिफिकल्ट for you to see a loss beyond your capital erosion what you can afford. So it becomes a very hazy picture. Now until now what we discussed, these were the slides of the previous webinar. There are a lot of other examples and explanation. Now these are very new things which I'm going to discuss. So now what I'm going to discuss is a psychological approach to technical trading. आपकी जो अप्रोच है टेक्निकल ट्रेडिंग में वो कितनी पुख्ता है, वो कितना खरा अप्रोच है, और वो कितना स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड है। एज इन आपको हर ट्रेड के लिए, एक बहुत अच्छे फंड मैनेजर had once said that he had said that every trade of the of my system seems the same to me. What I would interpret it as a technical trader is that we look at primarily three things. One is that there should be a good technical setup. Number two, you should lay out extremely good rules for money management. And number three, psychology, because you need to execute the trade. And a lot of things are in psychology. One more reason is that many times psychology drives your analysis. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपका एक स्टॉक है जिसको आपने बाई किया, फिर वो ऊपर चला गया, लेकिन आप बहुत जल्दी नहीं कर गए, आप उसको रिग्रेट कर रहे हो। तो आपका वो जो रिग्रेट एवर्जन है, रिग्रेट एवर्जन वहां पे किक इन करेगा और बोलेगा नहीं मैं तो अभी भी खरीद सकता हूँ, और आप एकदम गलत टाइम पे एंटर कर रहे हो। तो आपने ट्रेड भले ही सही किया होगा और आपने एकदम गलत टाइम पर एंटर किया, बिकॉज आप गलत टाइम पे एंटर किया, आप करेक्शन में वापस निकल गए, आपका जहाँ प्रॉफिट होना चाहिए था वहां लॉस हो गया। साइकोलॉजी। सो विदाउट either of this, money management, psychology, technical setup, this is like a stool. एक स्टूल है जिसके 3 पैर है, और कोई भी एक चला जाए, it will be extremely difficult for the stool to stand. Now, what are technical strategies, right? What are technical strategies? This is February 2014, 4th Feb to be precise, 4th Feb 2014. Nifty at a certain level became an extremely good buy from a Elliott wave theory point of view. It was at a very low level where I had bought it, where I had given a buy call also. It went up, it broke out, and that's it. After that, we had, everything is history till now we're going up. So in that phase, a lot of people who could have bought Nifty at maybe 7,000, maybe 6,500 also. In those levels, they did not, because they thought that why did not I catch the bottom? Why did I not catch the bottom? You have to understand one thing, that a technical setup, technical strategy, why does it exist? Because we are looking at price pressure, price movement. We want price movement. So when we want price movement, a person like me, a person like you, a lot of traders like us, just by our pressure of buying and selling, अगर मैं सपोज 50 करोड़ रुपए लगाता हूँ और मैं बोलता हूँ कि मैं इंडेक्स फ्यूचर्स खरीदूंगा, तो मैं 50 करोड़ रुपए से इंडेक्स फ्यूचर को 100 पॉइंट हिला नहीं सकता. So I need other traders to participate and bid the prices up for me. And what is everyone trying to do? Everyone is trying to buy low and sell high. Everyone trying to buy low and sell high. So entire process of buying low and sell high, the psychological patterns which we tend to do, we tend to repeat, are basically our own mistakes which we tend to repeat. And because a lot of people tend to repeat the same patterns, it may be a mistake, it may be just buying and selling habits, but whatever it is, that they create similar patterns. I don't say they create the same pattern, they create similar patterns. So when they create similar patterns, we get a technical setup. That technical setup tells me that okay, now is the time where I should enter the market. Maybe I did not catch the low, but I caught the price, I caught the move when it was going up or when it was going down. A technical trader is a first follower, he is not the leader. And you will find it extremely more easy to trade. Why do a lot of technical analysts, including me, when we say that okay, maybe market does this, but we don't trade it because we are waiting for a good technical setup to get into the trade. So a lot of people who ask me about what markets look like, sometimes I can just say what it looks like. I may be completely wrong, but it may be so that I'm not getting a technical setup, so I didn't even take the trade. So this is a mix of a difference between your charting and your trading. When your charting and your trading come close to each other and they're good, that time your accuracy level goes up like anything. Now, what exactly these technical strategies do? First of all, you have to understand that, for example, candlesticks, for example, GAN analysis, for example, the point and figure analysis, for example, Elliott wave theory also. They are all tools. They are not a trading system. So moving average is not a trading system. It's a technical tool. A candlestick is a technical tool. So I get a lot of phone calls of people who ask me about my course, and I tell them that we do everything from very basic to very detailed. But they come to me and say कि sir हम तो सोचते हैं कभी-कभी technical analysis work नहीं करता है. I feel like telling them that ये एक रेडियो नहीं है जो work करेगा या नहीं करेगा. This is not a machine. This is actually a technical strategy, is a mix of something what you call an edge. Now what does candlestick concept give me? There are a lot of candlesticks. So suppose 50 different types of candlesticks. I know them very well. Not that every day will I see the same candlestick, but I will see something from there. I will get something from there. So when I get the something from there, and I know how to apply it properly, when I know how to apply it properly, what tends to happen is that it gives me a higher probability of something happening over something not happening. So when it gives me a higher probability of something happening over something not happening, I call it edge, right? Now, if the edge, if for example I take momentum indicators or volatility indicators, even they can give me an edge. So when all these edges I have, like if I take just one edge, say for example candlesticks, if that edge is very good, if it is very sound, what it tends to do is that if I trade on its basis, it will over a period of time give me good profits. What do I mean over a period of time? See, technical strategies again, as I mentioned earlier, in different language I'll tell it now. Technical strategies are not meant to tell me where the market is going. It is simply meant to give me an edge over some period of time. Simply meant to give me most of my trades right if I take the next 10 trades or I take the next 20 trades. I may not know what sequence it will be right in, but I know that if my edge is strong, it will be correct. Also, now if I have an edge with a concept, say I take 5, 10 concepts. So let's take a number 7 concepts. So out of 7 concepts, each one I'm very clear with. I have an edge. I know over a series of trades, if I have the best of that concept, I'll make money. Now I'll mix the concepts. And I will take only trades which tell me that 5, at least 4 or 5 out of 7 concepts are asking me to buy, then I will go and buy. If 4 or 5 out of 7 are asking me to sell, I will go and sell. Obviously, the trade design part is a different story, but yes, we will design the trade around it. But these are the concepts which will motivate us to technically buy or sell. And when we have a mix of these things, we call it a system. And this system, I don't mean a computerized system. A computerized system is actually a $2.5 trillion industry, which doesn't work. Why do many systems don't work? I'll tell you why. Let's take an example of a casino. When you have a casino, the casino has what? It's got a beautiful 5-star hotel in which the casino is, right? 7-star hotel. Why do they have such beautiful hotels and such beautiful ambience and they serve you all the world's best drinks and this and that? Because they want you to play in their casino. They want you to bet money. Now, is there a possibility that you can make money in a casino? Definitely you can make money in a casino. Definitely. But some way or the other, if 10 people are coming playing in a casino, those 10 people, those 10 people will in it give something to the casino, then take from it. So maybe 3 people will make money, 7 people will lose money. The casino is still in profit. I'm just giving an example. I don't know much about casino and the gambling done over there, but I'm just giving an example. So when it comes to markets, you have brokers with very good offices and trading platforms and this and that. And it is said to people that it is a zero sum game. That suppose आपके पास 10,000 रुपया लॉस हो रहा है और मेरे पास 10,000 रुपया प्रॉफिट हो रहा है, तो फ्यूचर्स में बाइंग सेलिंग हो रही है, कोई बाई कर रहा है तो सेल कर रहा है, कोई सेल कर रहा है, कोई बाई कर रहा है, फ्यूचर्स में ऑप्शन में सब जगह. तो नेट में अगर किसी का प्रॉफिट हो रहा है तो किसी का लॉस हो रहा है. करेक्ट. वी थिंक इट्स अ जीरो सम गेम, बट नो, इट इज नॉट अ जीरो सम गेम. Suppose, all in all, suppose I'm not saying that brokerage should be so high, but suppose आपका 1,000 रुपए brokerage का चार्ट था, मेरा 1,000 रुपए brokerage का था. So when you're losing 10,000, you're actually losing 11,000. And when I'm making 10,000, I'm actually making 9,000. The 2,000 goes to the entire finance industry. and know that everything is getting motivated. You will get motivated because of all those reasons to trade. What a good trading system does it will get you on the other side of the casino. So if you have a good edge, a good system, and trade only that system very well, you will see that at the end of the day, you'll be on the other side of the casino table. Now, sir, ये तो होता ही है सर, लेकिन क्या है कि हम लोग एग्जीक्यूट नहीं कर पाते। तो एग्जीक्यूट कैसे करेंगे, उस क्यों नहीं कर पाते ये मैं बताऊंगा ना। टू बी एबल टू एग्जीक्यूट समथिंग, टू बी एबल टू टेक अ सर्टेन रिस्क। देखिए मुझे इतना एक सी तरीके से अच्छा पता है कि मैं आज तक कभी भी, हाँ ऐसे मैंने किया है, बट ओवरऑल मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स I have never bet my money on something which I find less sure. I only take trades which I find very good. पर सर आप ऐसे रोज रोज तो ट्रेड नहीं कर सकते होंगे ना। नहीं, रोज मिलते हैं ट्रेड, अच्छे ट्रेड मिलते हैं। वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ तभी होता है जब आपके पास एक क्लैरिटी ऑफ थॉट हो। अगर आपके पास एक क्लैरिटी ऑफ थॉट होगा तो आप उस ट्रेड को ढंग से एग्जीक्यूट कर पाएंगे। और क्या मैं इंक्लूड करूंगा इस क्लैरिटी ऑफ थॉट में? You should know exactly where your path is, where you're heading to. Now, the entire essence of trading, I tell this to all my students. Very clear it is, everything. आपको ज्यादा काम नहीं करना है, आपको सही काम करना है। ये भी हमारे अंदर साइकोलॉजिकली एम्बेडेड है। हम ज्यादा काम करेंगे तो ज्यादा पैसे मिलेंगे। ज्यादा काम कर रहे हैं तो ज्यादा मेहनत कर रहे हैं, ज्यादा टाइम दे रहे हैं तो ज्यादा मेहनत दे रहे हैं। ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। When it comes to business, आप ज्यादा काम करने से ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है आप सही काम करो। कभी कभी एक अच्छे ट्रेडर के लिए कुछ नहीं करना एक काम होता है, बट आपको अप्रोच डेवलप करनी होगी। आपको एक कन्विक्शन डेवलप करनी होगी कि आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो तो इसलिए नहीं कर रहे हो, because you're a professional trader and you don't want to gamble your money with mediocre trades. But when you get good trades, you're getting good trades and you're trading them. And then you can just take the trade and get off your screen and go for a walk also, because you're so convinced with the trade that you just put your stop loss and you go for a walk. So over here, to address this, what I will tell you is that this conviction comes only when you yourself have understood technically what is sound and what is not sound. Now according to me, what happens is that we all are looking for a good move in some time frame. So some people are looking at in the small time frame, some people are looking at big time frame. Some people have different their different specifications put together. So when they have these different specifications, and when they go ahead and trade, and they start looking for good movements, they do not do analysis most of the time. So if they don't do proper analysis, they end up not finding the movement. What they end up finding is a movement in the small time frame which gave them an illusion. Now, what I'm trying to tell over here is that the good moves, be it any time frame, come when you study the chart properly. So when you have a chart, when you have a price chart, that price chart, so y-axis is price, x-axis is time, and always, without different time frames, you cannot study charts. And I'll tell you now the power of fractals. Power of fractals. That means that the best of the moves come with the best of the setups. The best of the setups come with combining the best of the time frames. And why does it happen that we are combining the best of the time frame? For example, there is a man. I need you to understand this very clearly. Listen to this very clearly. Till now, everything is clear. Till now, do you have any question you can ask me? Do you have any questions? I'm ready to answer your questions. No questions. We'll have some chart examples also towards the later. Any questions? Okay, no questions. So now what happens? What happens is basically that suppose you see a man, he's lying on the ground, and this comes from a movie which came in 1977. It's a wonderful movie, and I forget the name of the movie, but it was very scientific in its nature. It was talking about the power of 10. No? So something 10 to the power of something all the time. How you zoom in, how you zoom out. So basically, if there's a man who is sitting in a garden, who is lying down in a garden like this, आराम से वो धूप को खाते हुए आराम से लेट रहे, आप उसके 10 मीटर ऊपर एक कैमरा लगाओ और उस आदमी को देखो, तो आपको क्या दिखाई देगा? वो आदमी दिखाई देगा, उसके आसपास की ग्रास दिखाई देगी, थोड़ा बहुत शायद कुछ एक आधा फूल दिखाई देते, वो गार्डन में। नाउ 10 to the power of 2, 100 मीटर ऊपर, आप 100 मीटर ऊपर ले गए कैमरा को ग्राउंड से, आपको क्या दिखाई देगा? गार्डन दिखाई देगी, शायद कुछ पेड़ दिखाई दे, पॉन्ड दिखाई देगा, आसपास रोड के पास वाला एरिया दिखाई देगा। थोड़ा ऊपर लेके जाइए, यानी कि आप 10 to the power of 3, 1 किलोमीटर ऊपर लेके जाइए, आपको एक गार्डन तो बहुत छोटी दिखाई देगी, आदमी बहुत छोटा दिखाई देगा, आसपास बिल्डिंग दिखाई देंगे वो सिटी एरिया में, तो एंड एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा। फिर 10 किलोमीटर ऊपर जाइए, जहाँ जिस एरिया उधर से प्लेन चलते हैं, तो आपको शायद बिल्डिंग भी छोटे छोटे दिखाई दे, फिर उसके अंदर गार्डन तो शायद बहुत दूर से दिखाई देगा, उसमें एक आदमी, आपको आसपास पूरा सिटी दिखाई देगा दूर से, बाहर वहां कहाँ खेती हो रही है वो भी दिखाई देगा। 10 किलोमीटर, 100 किलोमीटर, 1000 किलोमीटर, आप जूम आउट करते जाओगे, आपको अर्थ दिखाई देगा, अर्थ के बाद आपको सोलर सिस्टम दिखाई देगा, सोलर सिस्टम के बाद आपको पूरी की पूरी गैलेक्सी दिखाई देगी। अब वापस उस आदमी के पास आइए जहां से 10 मीटर से जहां शुरू किया था आपने, यहाँ पे सिर्फ उसका चेहरा और वो लेटा हुआ दिखाई दे रहा था, वहां से हमने शुरू करता वापस, वहां से 10 to the power of -1, 1 सेंटीमीटर, आपको उस आदमी का शक्ल दिखाई देगा, उसका स्किन दिखाई देगा। फिर आप 10 to the power of -2 और डीप घुसोगे, आपको टिश्यू दिखाई देगा, टिश्यू दिखाई देगा आपको, और डीप घुसोगे आपको सेल्स दिखाई देंगे, आपको सेल किसका बना था? मैटर, मैटर का आपको एटम्स दिखाई देंगे, एक एटम्स को ब्रेक करने से न्यूट्रॉन, प्रोटॉन, इलेक्ट्रॉन ऐसे बनते हैं। बट सिंस दिस इज सेल, सेल के अंदर डीएनए होता है और डीएनए दिखाई देगा। तो जिस प्रोपोर्शन में हमारे डीएनए का कैलकुलेशन है, उसी प्रोपोर्शन में हमारा मिल्की वे गैलेक्सी के फ्रैक्टल्स है। So at every level, the existence shows similar calculation. This also I'm borrowing from Fibonacci. But yes, this is how it is. So what happens in price is that different time frames, different things happen. And you have to be able to, for example, I tell you, when I mean to say things are similar, but they are not the same. तो मैंने फ्रैक्टल्स के बारे में क्लास में बताया था, तो मैंने कुछ एग्जांपल दिए थे, तो उसमें से शायद, मतलब मैंने काफी सारे एग्जांपल दिए थे, उसमें से कुछ मैं निकाल के आपको दिखा रहा हूँ, बिकॉज बाकी थोड़े ज्यादा टेक्निकल हो जाएंगे। तो ये दो ब्लू बॉक्सेस को देखिए, करेक्ट, दोनों सेम टाइम फ्रेम है, करेक्ट। यहाँ पे दो लोज हैं, यहाँ पे भी दो लोज हैं, करेक्ट। ये एक हैमर पैटर्न है, एक हैमर पैटर्न है, वीकली चार्ट में हैमर पैटर्न। इसके लोअर विक के जोन में आके, इसके लोअर विक के जोन में, इस जोन में जब प्राइस आया, यहाँ से रिवर्सल हुआ और यहाँ से ऊपर जाने लगा। सेम इसके लोअर जोन में जब प्राइस आया, इधर से रिवर्सल हुआ और यहाँ से ऊपर जाने लगा. सेम टाइम फ्रेम, सेम पैटर्न, सेम टाइम फ्रेम, सेम पैटर्न. What is the difference? And we got money on both of them. पैसे दोनों में बने. यहाँ बाई किया हमने, कुछ हफ्ते बाद सेल किया. यहाँ बाई किया, कुछ हफ्ते बाद सेल किया. But what was the difference? कि this went on to make new highs, this went on to make just a pullback and fall down again. अगर हम डेली टाइम फ्रेम में भी देखते हैं, तो मैंने वो वाला पर्टिकुलर चार्ट इंक्लूड नहीं किया डेली टाइम फ्रेम का, तो हमारे को यहाँ पे सेलिंग के एविडेंसेस मिल जाते बहुत जल्दी और बहुत अच्छे वाले. इनफैक्ट ये जो गैप डाउन हुआ था चाइना, उसके पहले मैं शॉर्ट ही था. So same time frame, similar pattern. Now we will go to different time frames now. Recently मेरा एक सेल कॉल था क्रूड में, तो मुझे याद है कि हम क्लास कर रहे थे एक संडे को, और मैं अपने स्टूडेंट से डिस्कस कर रहा था कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट, और बता दिया कि कुछ ऐसे बोलते बोलते मेरे को आया, some student had asked me, so I said that this crude will consolidate and it will go down. So at that time crude was basically over here in this region. It was here, so I said it will consolidate at this point and it will go down. Exactly वैसा ही हुआ ना. हमेशा जरूरी नहीं है हमेशा exactly ऐसा ही हो, मैं उसे मान के नहीं जाता. मुझे जब ट्रेडिंग का सिग्नल मिले तब मैं लेता. तो what I'm trying to say इसकी इसमें सिमिलरिटी क्या है. इसमें हम एक डेली टाइम फ्रेम लेंगे, ये क्रूड का चार्ट है, और इधर हम एक कॉपर का चार्ट देखेंगे. करेक्ट. नाउ अगेन मैंने थोड़ा सा इसको सिंपल रखा है, ज्यादा कॉन्सेप्ट्स के बारे में बात नहीं करेंगे ताकि सबको इक्वली समझ में आए चीजें. तो एग्जाम्पल देखते हैं कि एक टेक्निकल कॉन्सेप्ट हमें किस तरीके से, और ऐसे लगभग मतलब कितने सारे 100 टेक्निकल कॉन्सेप्ट्स तो मैं सिखाता ही हूँ, बट अपने सिर्फ एक चुनेंगे और कितने सिंपल तरीके से ये हमें ट्रेड देता है, तो व्हाई नॉट फ्रीक्वेंटली ट्रेड मिलेगा ही. तो लेट्स टेक दिस इज व्हाट आई कॉल अ शूटिंग हैमर. ये मेरा टर्म है शूटिंग हैमर, बिकॉज ये शूटिंग स्टार हैमर का मिक्स है. ये बहुत पावरफुल पैटर्न है जो कि डाउनवर्ड मूव सजेस्ट करता है. तो कई बार ऐसा होता है कि रिस्क रिवॉर्ड अच्छे नहीं होते यहाँ पे सेल करने के, तो शायद आप पुल बैक में सेल करो या फिर आप वेट करो. और मैं हमेशा स्टूडेंट्स को बोलता हूँ कि दिस एरिया, one of the properties of this candle is that this area becomes a potential resistance zone. So price came over here. Range mostly आप लोगों को पता ही है, price का एक range था, it came at the upper end of the range. At the same time it was this resistance. तब तक ये range define नहीं हुई थी एक तरीके से देखा जाए तो. When it come to this resistance, we saw a certain candlestick cluster, after which we saw a fall. If we go into it, if we go like in the previous slide I was showing, एक symmetrical triangle pattern बना. बाकी momentum indicators वगैरह में नहीं जाएंगे, but this was the entire idea कि इस zone के अंदर आके price consolidate करके बहुत जोर की fall आना शुरू होती. This is the daily time frame. Now let's look at the hourly time frame. So we will discuss copper, और आप ये जो circular area देख रहे हो, राइट, ये सर्कुलर एरिया, इसके अंदर हम जूम इन कर रहे हैं, और हम जूम इन कर रहे हैं इसको हम आवरली टाइम फ्रेम में. जूम इन करने से तो मैं ये बताना चाह रहा था कि उस सर्कुलर एरिया से जो फॉल आया था, हाउ डिड आई ट्रेड दिस, एग्जैक्टली सॉ द सेम पैटर्न. आई कैन शो यू सेम पैटर्न इन इक्विटीज आल्सो. अभी मेरे को बोलते बोलते ही याद आ रहा है, और क्लास में हमने एग्जांपल भी किया था, द सन टीवी व्हिच यू नो शॉर्टेड सम टाइम बैक, एज इन ऐसे I'm very bullish on Sun TV, but I shorted in futures as a trade. That was during the few days before the Trump thing. And when you go back to the chart and you look, you will see the same thing. Few days before Trump became the president, you will see the same pattern. So over here again we see the same shooting star. Price comes, there is a cluster of candles, consolidation over here, and it starts falling, dumping down. So you start to sell when it starts falling, but you have a plan before that. So basically, a technical strategy is not for you to look at highs and tops at exact points, but to participate when the move is happening. Number two, you are having a plan, right? A plan, a trading setup, a plan, a psychological plan, a money management rule. So when you have all that plan put together, you have already done most of your analysis before taking the trade. All you're waiting for is the trigger. So this is how we see. Now I hope everyone has got it. I want someone to raise their hand and all to let me know that they understood what I was saying, or I will explain this again. Thank you, Subodhji. Thank you, Prakashji. Right. Thank you, Kalyanji. So you guys understood it, right? Thank you. So they are not the same. So you will see that this is on crude on daily very recently. This is on hourly charts in copper. They are not the exact same thing, but they are similar. They are similar. And you know why these patterns they keep changing? Sorry, they keep repeating. They keep repeating, or I must say, they keep rhyming because I've been in this profession for more than 8 years now, and what I've realized is that, like, today is a Sunday morning, you all are here to learn. This goes to show how much you want self-improvement. Really, what I've learned is that people don't change. People don't change. They don't change when they are given a better option. They change when change is the only option. And a lot of times you will be seeing that when prices reverse from a bottom, people will hold on to their long position until the market scares them out, because they don't want to be flexible before that. They don't want to change. They don't want to change during a trade. They don't want to change their approach towards trading. So if they don't want to change, you should inspire them to change. And that is what this entire webinar, this entire setup is for. So that I can inspire people to change. Now what happens when we are trading, right? There are basically two things which happen. One is an association and one is an experience. The battle between association and experience, this is always there. And the other is left brain functions and right brain functions. So a lot of you must be feeling this, that whenever you see things unfolding in front of you, आपके पास एक रैशनल रीजन है उसको रैशनलाइज करने का, चाहे वो फंडामेंटल हो चाहे वो टेक्निकल हो, कुछ भी हो. हाँ, जरूर मैंने कहा था कि फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस में आप लेवरेज नहीं ले सकते हो, बिकॉज वो स्टूपिड है, बिकॉज द मार्केट कैन ऑब्वियसली बी इररेशनल. द मार्केट इज इररेशनल मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम. तो आप उसमें लेवरेज नहीं ले सकते हो, बट आप उसमें लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट बहुत अच्छा कर सकते हो. उससे बेटर कोई चीज नहीं है. सो लेफ्ट ब्रेन फंक्शन में, चाहे वो टेक्निकल हो चाहे वो फंडामेंटल हो चाहे वो न्यूज बेस्ड हो, कोई ना कोई रीजन, कोई ना कोई लॉजिक जो है आपके पास हमेशा रहती है. सो आपके पास जब कोई ना कोई लॉजिक रहती है उस चीज को प्ले आउट करने की, तो what you tend to do is that you use that logic and reason to rationalize the trade. So आपके पास एक ट्रेड करने के लिए स्ट्रॉन्ग लॉजिक है. राइट ब्रेन फंक्शन हैज गॉट क्रिएटिविटी, इंट्यूशन, इमेजिनेशन. तो आपका जो राइट ब्रेन है, जो इंट्यूटिव माइंड है, वो आपको पुश करता है किसी चीज के. Right brain or intuitive mind. What is intuition? A lot of great people have been answering this question. And the best answer I came across, जो मेरे को best answer मिला intuition का, from Sadhguru, I would say, yes, that is why I read it. Intuition is super fast, invisible calculation. So your right brain is calculating something super fast. The calculation is not in front of you, it's invisible to you. And your intuition says you what to do. So when you are with charts or when you are with your system, whatever your system is, when you are with markets and you are following the markets, just like when you are sitting on the sea beach and you are seeing the waters come. Similarly, you're just sitting and observing the market. If you can do that way, because you're relaxed in the sea beach, wherever you are relaxed, you can tap into your right brain. You will see the day you're relaxed in the market, where you're in no hurry to make in the money. How to be relaxed in the market, no hurry to make money, go to the previous webinar recording and see. But when you are relaxed in the market, when you don't have any hurry, you relax and sit back, as if you were sitting on a beach and watching the waves. Now you watch the prices. You tap into your right brain, intuition. What do you do in meditation? In meditation, right brain and left brain have a synapse. If any of you are deep into meditation, you will see that left brain, right brain का जो neurons है, they start exchanging synapse. So a mix of this intuition and logic gives you a stronger mental setup to not just be convinced about a trade, but to even select the trade. And trading can be intuitive. As I said, 5 or 4 out of my 7 concepts, when they say buy, I will go and buy. But when they say it's a buy, it is my intuitive interpretation. It is my subjective interpretation. If there is a buy or not. That is happening. This is now, I'm talking about a trade setup when you're looking at a trade. Before you enter. Once you enter the trade, now there are 2 parts of the brain. Suppose when you listen to music, suppose you start listening to your one sad song, you start remembering all sad things, all sad memories, etc. So I'll not get into the names because even I find them very difficult to pronounce. Some thalamus or something. So suppose this part of your brain, when this is focused upon, when your awareness goes into the sad memories of the sad song. On the other hand, there is a part of the brain which gives us the experience of taking rewards. When we are rewarded for something, when we feel pleasant, another part of the brain is activated. And both these parts of the brain release different chemicals. And when these chemicals are released, when these brain enzymes are released, hormones are released, or whatever you put it, you have to call it brain chemicals are released, you find that they result in a battle. So when you are associating a correction, like for example, you buy something at 100 rupees, or buy something at 1000 rupees, it goes to 1010. From 1010, it goes back to 1005. So that fall, you're associating that fall with a past experience of a loss. So आपने पिछली बार कभी कहीं लॉस किया होगा, तो आप उस फॉल को एसोसिएट कर रहे हो उस एक्सपीरियंस के साथ. आप समझ रहे हो सब लोग मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, right? So when you're associating these things, what tends to happen is कि जो अभी का ट्रेड है जो अभी का ट्रेड है जिसको आपने 1000 में खरीदा 1050 के टारगेट के साथ, वो 1010 पे आके 1005 हो गई। जो अभी का ट्रेड है इसका कोई रिलेशन नहीं है आपके पिछले किसी कोई भी ट्रेड से। ऑल ट्रेड्स हैव एन एज, दे शुड बी म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव। आपकी कोई इनकरेक्ट या लॉस मेकिंग ट्रेड से इसका कोई रिलेशन नहीं है। बट व्हेन यू सी दैट करेक्शन, your mind associates the same pain, reminds you of the same pain, and it gives you fear. So when there is fear and you get reminded of the pain, what do? You apply something called cognitive dissonance, which I got kind of explained in the previous webinar also. Cognitive dissonance, where I'm seeing something and it is not happening according to me. So I say, let's just cut it out. Let me just close this trade. The next thing I know is that after 2005, the stock went straight over to 1070. But that 5 rupee correction, which had nothing to do with my previous experience, got me and got my chemicals running in my brain, which got my attention to the previous experience. You see, music is different. There is a song which sounds very happy, there is a song which sounds very bad, sad. So when you hear a sad song, you feel something. When with prices, it can either go up and it can either go down. And if you are looking closely, then sometimes these corrections, especially with a good setup, if you get out in a correction, you will regret at the end of the day. So until and unless you understand yourself, how will you be disciplined? So association and experience. What happens on the left side? What happens when you're feeling happy? A lot of times when you're feeling happy, you have the release of dopamine. What do I mean by dopamine release? You see most of the moves, and technically I've proved this to a lot of people, all my students for that matter, that the last move sometimes, and you can actually see it happening, you can actually bifurcate it. Last move happening very swiftly. So when the last move happens very swiftly, a lot of people are getting in the exuberance. What is exuberance? A state of mind where there is no perception of risk. What is actually happening now inside the brain? What is happening? There are certain chemicals which give me the motivation to make money, which give me a pleasant feeling when I make money. So there is nothing, we all sit there in the markets, we all do our analysis, we all do our trading, only and only to get the feeling of money coming in effortlessly. And okay, fine, I took this trade, now it's working out for me. I'm plus by 1.5 lakh rupees. I'm plus by 5 lakh rupees. Nothing like that. So only to be able to get that reward. So what our mind does is that it becomes addicted to rewards. Now I'll come to, now आप बोलेंगे reward नहीं लेके सर, ऐसा नहीं है, सुनिए पूरा चीज. Our mind becomes addicted to rewards because this dopamine is addictive. Now I'll connect dopamine with some other things now. I'm into astrology also. Basically, I'm into anything which requires beautiful analysis. So Vedic astrology, there's a planet called Rahu. A lot of you might know that Rahu is extremely essential to be good in the stock market. I've seen the best traders have very good Rahu placement in their birth chart. So anyway, Rahu, what does stand for? Rahu stands for prediction. Rahu stands for betting, stock markets, speculation. Rahu stands for drinking, smoking, addictive things. Rahu stands for computers. In today's world, computers, electronics, social media is addictive. So, and how is a good planet? Without how there can be no fame, material desire, or money. How is good? Now, what happens in that dopamine is released and you become addictive? You tend to become addicted to random profits. You tend to become addicted to random profits. So, being feeling happy about your profits is not bad. It's good. You should feel happy. And you should try to inspire yourself to do better. But when you have random profits, that for example, okay, I'm playing around with good money. चल 4 और टाटा स्टील खरीदते हैं, 30 पैसा ऊपर बेच दिया, पैसे बन गए, 2-4 हजार करके आज 6 हजार रुपये या 8 हजार रुपये 10 हजार बन गए, बहुत अच्छा लगा। कल आया, 30 पैसे ही तो चाहिए, 2-4 ट्रेड चाहिए, फिर 4 लॉट टाटा स्टील खरीदा कहीं पे, 2 लॉट एसबीआई बेचा, 10 पैसा 30 पैसा 50 पैसा मूवमेंट, 3 हजार रुपये बन गए। फिर गया पंजाब नेशनल बैंक खरीदा, थोड़ा नीचे गया वो, फिर 4% नीचे गया, 30 हजार रुपये साफ। Your addiction to small profits, your addiction to small profits got you in the worst state and took more money from you than it actually could. And when something is addictive, your brain wants that release of chemical. The only way you can stop that release of chemical is by meditation. If I know 20 good traders, super hotshot, super traders, out of 20, I would say 18 are into meditation. You need to balance your instincts. So you understand that if I have a thing for random profits, if random small profits seem very good to me, they release dopamine. When they release dopamine, they give me the feeling of being rewarded. When I feel rewarded, I want to do that again and I want more dopamine. A lot of people who want adrenaline rush, they can keep wanting adrenaline. On the other hand, when I'm executing trades, I sometimes feel sad at corrections. I sometimes feel sad when things don't exactly seem like they're working out for me at the moment. But then if you're wanting a big move, you have to be in a bigger time frame. If you are in a bigger time frame, you might enter the trade accurately. But to be able to unfold its full potential, you need to give it some time because it's a bigger time frame. Now, suppose child, there's a child and there's a dog. तो वो जो बच्चा है वो अपने दोस्त के घर जाता है, क्या करता है, वो दोस्त के घर जाता है, वो दोस्त के घर जाता है और वो देखता है कि वहां पे एक डॉग है और उसके दोस्त का डॉग है, वो पेट डॉग, और वो दोस्त का पेट डॉग जो है वो भौंकने लगता है और उसको काट लेता है। अब वो जो बच्चा है वो क्या चाहेगा, वो क्या देखेगा, वो तो यही समझेगा ना कि डॉग काटते हैं, लेकिन बच्चों को देखने के बाद एक्चुअली डॉग नहीं काटते। डॉग एक्चुअली बहुत ही ज्यादा प्यार करते हैं बच्चों से, और जब बच्चों से प्यार करते हैं तब उनको ऐसा लगता है कि क्यों ना बच्चों के साथ खेले। लेकिन इस बच्चे का एक्सपीरियंस क्या था, इस बच्चे का एक्सपीरियंस ये था कि जो डॉग है वो काटते हैं, और नेक्स्ट टाइम वो जब भी कोई डॉग को देखता है, नेक्स्ट टाइम वो जब भी कोई डॉग को देखता है वही समझता है कि कहीं ना कहीं ये एक्सपीरियंस रिपीट होगा। जबकि पिछले डॉग और नए डॉग के बीच में बहुत डिफरेंस है, उसके इंटेंशन के बीच में बहुत डिफरेंस है। इनफैक्ट मोस्ट ऑफ द डॉग बच्चों के साथ खेलना चाहते हैं। सेम फॉर मार्केट्स। I'll just pause 1 second. आपको कोई question हो, you want to share something, because with your experience others will learn. With your questions, when I answer them, others will learn. Please feel free to ask your questions. If there are no questions, you can also message me. I have no questions. Please continue. We have a small crowd today. Yes, someone is asking us. Okay. Thank you, sir. So no questions. Now, great. Thanks, Subodh. Now we have, little more to go, and little more, 2 slides or 3 slides now. Not much, but very interesting things to talk about. Also, this webinar has been kept short because these free webinars, I want people to attend the entire thing. And last time and this time, if you mix these two webinars and you actually both watch them back to back, it can be like extremely beneficial. Apart from that, I tell you that next weekend we are going to have another webinar like this. I need you all to be active. When you actively participate, then that can motivate me to come out with these free webinars. Because anyway, Saturday and Sunday I have my paid course batch going on, so I have a lot of work. Monday to Friday I'm trading, so I'm trading for a lot of markets, a lot of instruments. So it'll be really great if all of you keep participating. Now, towards the end, what I'm going to now say is that you have to have a clear idea about what your goal is with trading. So this is a wrapping up thing. Number one, you have to understand, don't mistaken accessibility for easiness. Trading is very accessible. You can just pay money, open an account, put money in that account and trade. Trading is accessible. You have seen a company, you can open a company just by having a trade license, some current bank account, etc. Opening or starting a business is great, it's easy. Opening a trading account is also easy. Being a consistent trader is difficult. Similarly, building a business is difficult. So have a very clear approach that okay, if it takes time, it takes time. Building a business is difficult. Next, have a certain goal with trading. Now, when you have a goal, you are focused towards of trading, because see over here a lot of you, I'm telling you that okay, if I have a series of 10 trades, out of that seven are correct, 8 are correct, 6 are correct, you net out in profits. You feel very good that, correct? But there will be a situation, and no matter how good a trader you are, there will be some losses sometimes. That's a part of the game. So when you have a certain goal with trading, what you're doing is you're not ruling out losses. What you're actually doing is, instead of focusing on 10 trades and getting 7 out of them correct, you are just focusing on the next 50,000 rupees, or next whatever level you trade at, as in whatever scale you are taking, maybe next 5,000 rupees, next 10,000 rupees, next 20,000 rupees. Because if you have a clear goal, and what do goals do? Goals take out your time barrier. The biggest time barrier we all have. I meet a lot of young people, and they start thinking that money is made slowly and grows slowly. If you start believing in a goal, you start moving and taking the action towards that. So get out of this time barrier, because what is time? Time is an illusion. Markets move in different shapes and sizes every day. Every day is same trade you won't get. Hold on to your expectations. Hold on to your expectations. Every market phase is not the same. You may have a good run at a certain market phase, but if you can hold on to your expectations. What do I mean hold on to your expectations? Hold on to your expectations का मतलब ये नहीं कि आप भूल जाओ और डर के मारे प्रॉफिट कमा के उसको प्रिजर्व करने के चक्कर में रह जाओ. होल्डिंग टू एक्सपेक्टेशन का मतलब हुआ that whenever you are in a particular trade compared to another trade, आपने दो एग्जांपल देखे थे. We saw the example of a similar these things, right? A move after the same pattern, a move after the same pattern. One goes up and fades away. One keeps going up and makes new highs. So over here, if someone did not hold on to their expectation properly, they would have again got a loss or probably wiped out all profits. So that is what I mean by holding on to expectation. Also, you see, you need wisdom. Correct. Lakshmi ji is Vishnu's wife. Who is Vishnu? Vishnu is the preserver. And in today's world, we call Lakshmi as wealth or prosperity, money. And actually, it comes from the word Lakshya, which means goal. So if you have a goal that okay, I want to read these two good books, I want to educate myself in markets. When you achieve your goals, you have achieved Lakshmi. And the best traders, I feel the only goal is to take the best trades. Money follows. In mine, only goal is to take the most cream trades, the ideal trades, and money follows. And I get ideal trades like very frequently. Trading is like a stool with three legs: money management, psychology, a good technical setup. So with all this, I would like to end the session with on a note that I don't know how many of you have seen the previous recording or been in the previous webinar, but all I know is that if you mix this and that, we'll get a clear insight because that is less technical and that has got a lot of more different things and starts from the basic of objectivity in trading. So if you kind of mix both these two things, it'll be really great. And on the ending note, by the end of this month, I'm beginning my new batch, my course, which is called Technically Sorted, a course on technical analysis and trading. It's a 15 session course, twice a week, that's Saturday, Sunday, 2 to 2.5 hours of classes. If needed, we go on to more than 15 classes also sometimes. All the details, the course content, etc., you can ask me personally or you can contact my course coordinator for that. Always remember that irrespective of my course or whichever course, having a good approach in the long run is better than having one good trade or two good trades. So what our goal over here is to give you a very good foundation, a very qualitative approach. First, learning about trading is qualitative. It is not quantitative. Quantitative, it becomes on its own. So we'll give a very qualitative approach and teach you how to make it quantitative in the long run. So whatever your approach may be, please keep coming to such webinars. Please keep attending such and going to such places where you get to learn. Motivate your fellow traders to learn. Also, do give feedback about this webinar to on the email. You can contact me or my course coordinator, and he'll tell you everything about the course content. He can tell you about everything about the dates and times and the fee payment structure. It's a After the course is where actually the journey starts, and I don't leave your hand even after that. So today's session, we'll call it a day. Thank you so much for coming and giving your time. It really means a lot to all of us because all of us come together and make these things possible. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Bibari says, what is the role of the fifth house in trading? Okay. Okay, Vivarish, you're talking about astrology, Vedic astrology, fifth house in trading. Now, fifth house stands for speculative gains. Any business can have speculation because every business there is a certain uncertainty, there is a certain risk. So, fifth house is all about gaining from uncertainty. Now, when we are talking about trade in fifth house, I would say in the same parlance and same line as today, that when you're talking about trading in the long term, you're trying to start, mixing things up with it being a good system. So if your fifth house has a good system, if you develop your good system, what you're doing, you're putting the edge towards you. You're putting the probabilities towards you. So your fifth house is becoming stronger. And there, any business, any business has got the essence of speculation, essence of even investment is speculation. A lot of people come and tell me, sir, investment to investment है, trading speculation. Investment भी speculation ही है. It's just that उसका psychological stamina long run में आसान हो जाता है लोगों के लिए. Correct? So fifth house you increase by learning more, and fifth house is education. Fifth house is children, education, speculation. Getting the point? So that way, yes. Subodh ji has asked a question. More reading material on psychology. Well, you can read these. You can watch both these webinars, Subodh, the one of this previous this thing, and in the course we have. If in case you choose to, in the course I teach more psychology. I was planning to design, multiple sessions, a paid course with just trading psychology, but once I feel that I get so many takers, then I'm designing that, and it's going to have everything and give you a. It's going to have include everything which I teach in my course also, and in the end give you also a, a kit to actually take back home a lot of things and be completely sorted. Use trading affirmations, a lot of things about how your trading journal should be maintained. Like in the previous webinar, I've spoken about trading journal. So all these things. In my beside that, of course, I will share some good books. If you want, you can get in touch with me. I have some very good books. I can suggest them. You can just find them on Google anywhere. But if you want, I can send them to you also, because I stand for knowledge, irrespective of what format you take it from me. I will do as much as I can in whatever time frame. Any more questions? Anything you ask? Thank you for attending. Yes. Any more questions? Any more questions if you want to ask, you can go ahead and ask me questions. Okay. So guys, we'll call it a day today. And thank you so much for being. If you have any other questions, queries, if you want to ask more things, you can ask. You can get in touch with my course coordinator also. It's been a wonderful session. It's been a wonderful 2 weeks of psychology. I'm coming up again next week with another session, which is going to be more technical in nature, and it will give you more insights. The entire goal is to give people really, really good knowledge and really, really good insights. It is a more structured way when I give it in my poet course, but whatever I can give in this format, I will definitely share with you all so that we are in a common level of thinking and balance. So thank you so much for coming today, and keep seeing you. Goodbye. I'm logging off. Thank you. Thank you so much.